I'm Lou Grant. Mary asked me to do a promo for Me TV.
You want to see me, Lou?
Not now, Ted. Watch me on...
Danish donut?
I said not now, Ted. Watch me on Me TV.
You don't like me? I'll fire you.
Watch Mary Tyler Moore, and I'll fire you.
Me TV Fresno, now on Comcast Channel 187.
Meow.
Hi, I'm John Malos, and welcome to this edition of Connect with Me, live on the showroom floor at Ventura TV, live on Comcast 187 and 43.6. And on this day, it's the focus on business. What business? Well, it's one of the oldest in Fresno, built back in 1922, founded by, hey, someone who came to this country a long time ago. We're back with our guest, including your phone calls, 436 Me TV. And welcome back to the program on this Tuesday morning on the showroom floor at Ventura TV. Of course, today is the focus on business, and what a great business it is. It's been around for decades and decades, long before I was even thought of. Anyway, you know, we're going to talk about this because more than 54,000 Armenians entered the United States way back when. Well, in the late 1800s, early 1900s, the majority came from Turkey, Russia, Canada, Great Britain, and Egypt. And also the majority who arrived right here in the Central Valley, they were involved in farming and agriculture. But some started their own business. Let's go to the picture and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Here in Fresno, they began arriving in the early 1890s. And around 1900, Holy Trinity Church was built, and that became the focal point of Armenian town. And right across the street from the church, someone built this bakery. Hey, they call it Valley Lahvosh, built back in 1922 by the founder, Agnes Saghatelian, who fled the violence in Armenia back in 1905, and he came to this country. The bakery is still there, same location, 90 years and going strong. There's the front of the bakery right there. You might recognize it. And of course, 90 years, celebrating a lot of years in existence. Want to see who owns it? Well, it's Agnes. She took over sole ownership when her mother, Janet, sadly passed away some 3 years ago. And so today, as I speak, Agnes and Company still makes the best cracker bread and lavash around. And it comes in all sorts of shapes and sizes and flavors. And it's distributed all over the country. So there is the production side. Also, they actually bake the lavash right there on the site, which is something you'll see in just a few minutes here. And there is also the store. There's Agnes right there showing you all the various shapes and sizes and different flavors. If you walk in the store, you can buy any bag that you want. Live in our studio now is Agnes Saghatelian, the owner of Valley Lahvosh. She is here to answer your questions about the bakery that was founded by her grandfather back in 1922. 436 Me TV is the number here. You're watching us live on Comcast 187 and 43.6. Today, the focal point and the focus is on business. We're back with your phone calls and our guest in a moment.
Frigidaire. We introduced the first home freezer, the first pulsator agitator washer. And now we introduce the Frigidaire Orbit Clean Dishwasher, designed with a unique wash arm that gives you 4 times more water coverage for a consistently better clean. Frigidaire, over 90 years of legendary innovation.
See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
You know, to have a business that's been around since 1922 is a long, long time. Boy, 90 years and counting and still going strong and not showing any signs of letting up. And, you know, even in this economy, it's doing and flourishing and sending all that lavash, that cracker bread, all over the country and maybe even around the world soon. Our guest is the owner now, Agnes Saghatelian. Almost blew the name there. It's Saghatelian, not Saghatelian.
Yes, with the G, Saghatelian.
All right. So how are you, Agnes? You
I'm
look
doing
wonderful
great.
this morning.
Thank you.
You look great. You brought all the goodies with you here?
I did. Some of our most popular items that we make at the bakery.
And how has this business flourished for 90 years? I mean, that's a long time. Of course, your grandfather started it, and your mother took over the business with your uncle, I believe?
Yes, my uncle, after my grandfather passed away, my uncle and my mother continued on the bakery, and my uncle was actually the baker, and then Mom ran the business side of it. And then after he passed in the early 1980s, she became president in 1982. And so then she just carried on and really grew the company. And now I'm the third generation carrying it on.
So your grandfather came here. Why didn't he get involved in agriculture like many of the other Armenians who came to this country, decided to go into the bakery business and start his own business, which is a little bit unusual, right?
Well, you know, he was a baker in Armenia, so that's what he knew. He knew how to bake. And so when he came to this country, he did what he knew how to do and settled downtown and built the bakery at the corner of M and Santa Clara and lived right next door to the bakery. So that's where he lived and worked. And he actually created the pita bread, which is a beautiful loaf bread.
That would be P-E-D-A, right?
Right, yes, the pita loaf. And so he made that to kind of commemorate his new land and his new country and a new start for his family. And so we still make that pita bread today.
So everything's centered around the church because that church was built in 1900. According to Wikipedia, it burned in 1914. They rebuilt it. But is that why that became kind of Armenian town right there around the church?
Well, yes, the church was there, and the bakery was built later in 1922. So those were the two anchors in that neighborhood. And then, you know, back, you know, in those years, it was a beautiful Armenian neighborhood with just many, many families. And my mother would tell great stories of everybody would just be outside and visiting, and they would go to church, and then after church, they'd come to the bakery, get their fresh bread, and that was just the life back then.
Yeah. Let's hold up and tell our audience what you have here.
Sure, okay. I brought some of our most popular items. The most popular is our heart-shaped item. And that heart shape was developed by my mother when she became president in 19...
Hold those up so they can... Which one are the heart ones are right there,
This is the heart. This is our signature heart. And then we also make it in a box.
Okay.
And Mom loved everything in the shape of a heart. So when she became president, she made a heart-shaped item. She said, I want a heart-shaped cracker. Yeah, she did. And so now it's become our #1 selling retail item. And it's really what the bakery is known for. It's our trademark item. And then we also have some rounds. Bag? This pink bag is really a lot of fun. This is our heart-shaped cracker bread with some cinnamon and sugar. So we call them sweethearts.
Okay.
So it's a little more of a sweet treat. You can eat it right out of the bag.
Okay, and the others there in the box?
These are just some different shapes that we have. We make a round, and we also make a fun star.
Hold those more in front of you, because it's like, no. Toward the right there. There you go. Now hold them up. There you go, right there. What are those again?
This is our round, and then this is our star. The star is a lot of fun for really festive.
Sorry.
That's okay. Festive holidays such as, you know, Christmas, obviously, or Father's Day, or graduation celebrations that are coming up. Anything that is celebratory, the stars work great for.
Yeah, that's great. So your grandfather came here in what year?
We don't know the exact year, but the early 1900s. He actually came over and settled in Massachusetts, and then earned some money, went back and got the rest of his family, and settled here in Fresno in the early 1900s.
And apparently there was a lot of violence where he was in Armenia, so he wanted to get out of there.
He did. He needed to escape what was happening there, and so he got his family and left and came here to the United States. And then once he settled here in Fresno, he had 6 more children, and so the majority of his children were born and raised here in the Valley.
All right, so you took over this place, sadly, when your mom died. I'm sorry to hear that. 3 years.
Thank you, yes.
Of course. Now, you're the sole owner.
I am.
And you're the president, the CEO, the what? The everything, the chef, the cook and bottle washer?
Well, I do a little bit of everything. I don't get back there and bake the bread, I will admit, but I run the day-to-day operations.
You scrub the floors, clean the toilets?
No, you know, just running the day-to-day operations, that's a big job.
It's got to be a tough job. But, you know, a lot of people might be interested, and one of the reasons we called here, we want to find out how this stuff is made.
Sure.
How do you make this right here. So let me turn you to the big monitor here, and let's take a look at the video. Step one, I'll call this step one in the process, and you can take us through as to what's going on here. This is obviously the flour.
That is looks like actually some sugar.
Okay.
What they do every single day, they make everything from scratch. So we have all of our raw ingredients stored in the back. So flour, sugar, salt, water, yeast, and so everything is mixed fresh every day. We do 600-pound doughs. We do about 7 or 8 600-pound doughs, depending on the type of shift that we're having, and that's our big mixer right there. So all of the ingredients are put into the mixer. And
we should identify your worker there. Give him a little airtime.
That is Will. He does a great job for us out there. Yes. And so that is the dough once it's come out of the mixer. And so what he's doing is he's cutting off large chunks of dough.
Wow.
And then those chunks will actually get put into the hopper, which he's going to climb up and put some dough. And then that is going to be what's called sheeted. And it will be pressed out flat, and it'll go through a series of rollers, which act as rolling pins to just flatten out the dough.
We'll see that in a later process, because we have about 5 videos that we're going to show here.
Okay.
But this step now, what's happening here?
What's actually happening is the new dough is going in down on the bottom, and then the dough that is not used from being cut out is coming back, and it's being recycled. So that's our way to eliminate waste. We do whatever we can to eliminate as much waste as possible. So that dough.
So where's the waste? Up on top?
It's up on top, and it's not really waste, but when the product is cut out at the cutter stage, it cuts out the shapes, and the excess
so this is
coming
being
back
cut
in.
out right now, right?
Right now it's being just flattened out, and it'll be cut out later in the process.
Okay, so now it's being flattened out. What do you do with the extra pieces?
Those just get recycled back in.
Okay.
Yeah, everything gets recycled back in and used. The dough gets all used.
So that's quite a machine there. I would imagine that's a very modern and very expensive machine, right?
It is. It's automated. You know, all of the lavash used to be made by hand. My uncle would, and the bakers would be out, and they would roll the dough and knead the dough and do everything by hand. And then in 1985, we added on this 80-foot oven and all of the equipment that comes with it. So the lavash side of the plant is automated.
Yeah, very interesting. We're talking to Agnes here. She's the owner of Valley Lahvosh. It's across the street from Holy Trinity Church, and it's been there, you know what, before she was born, before I was born, before many of you were born, I'm sure. 1922 is when the place started. Hey, 436-ME-TV is the telephone number here if you want to call in live on Comcast 187 and 43.6. Back on our Focus on Business today in just a moment.
I love playing cowboy.
Come on, let's go.
I'm an old cowhand from the big old ranch, and my legs ain't
If you're looking for a fight, you're gonna find it.
Say, you reckon this thing is loaded?
I'm happy to have as a guest today Agnes Saghatelian. Of course, she goes back generations, her family with this bakery, Lahvosh Bakery, of course, Valley Lahvosh it's called, across the street from Holy Trinity Church. If you haven't been there, go in the store and just browse around. Not sure if they're going to let you see the production line. That's, I mean, that's quite a process. They get up very, very early in the morning to make the lavash, right? And you're up at the crack of dawn with them, right?
I wish I could say that I was, but
I'm
I'm not. They call those baker hours. Those are really tough hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it, let me ask you something, even though you inherited the business, isn't it difficult to run a business? I mean, you saw your mom, you saw, you know, what she went through, your mom and your uncle as business owners, but it was different back then than this day and age in this economy, the way it is. Is it difficult even though you're doing pretty well?
Yeah, it's very difficult. You know, every day you have to work really hard, every single day. It's not like we can just kind of coast and think, oh, okay, you know, we've got our customers and we make this great product, and you have to work at it every day.
What do you worry about the most as a business owner?
Well, you know, my focus is to grow the company and to keep the sales coming in. That's the most important thing, because if you don't have sales, you don't have a business. And so
is that difficult?
To get new customers, it is. I mean, we have a pretty loyal, steady base. We've been in business over 90 years.
Well, what about keeping that loyal, steady base? Is that a difficult process?
Well, you know, it is in the sense that you have to continually make a high-quality product, and you have to have consistency in your product. And if you do that, the customers will keep coming back. Yeah, and giving them great customer service.
Right. Okay, we do have a phone call here. Good morning. You're on Connect with Me with Agnes Saghatelian. She is the owner of Valley Lahvosh. How are you?
Good morning. I could almost smell those delightful products from my car as I'm driving by the bakery downtown Fresno. It's great. Fresno's got so many things to be proud of, and the bakery, of course, is one of them that everybody thinks of. Soroyan mentions it a couple of times in his literary work. And I think also in one of his plays, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not real sure about that, but...
Check Wikipedia.
Anyway, I just wanted to say that it's a great product. I look forward to finding it in the stores, and when I have an opportunity to be in downtown Fresno, I love to go into the retail outlet and get a good whiff of the...
it sure smells good.
Pita bread.
Yes,
there's no question about it. First of all, it smells great, and second of all, this place is a landmark. I mean, anything that's been around since 1922 and it's still flourishing, I mean, they're doing something right. I don't know what it is, Agnes, what you're doing, but obviously don't change.
I won't. A lot of hard work, a lot of great people that work there.
Hey, I want to. Yeah, go ahead.
Agnes.
Go ahead.
My question was the Armenian town. You mentioned it. I know that there's kind of a like a theme, a destination called Armenian Town, going up right across the street from the bakery. What is the status of that? How's that being funded? When's it going to open? What's the deal on that, Agnes? Thank you.
Well, you know, the houses that are being redone right across the street from the bakery, those homes were part of the original Armenian town, and so those have been saved and they're going to be refurbished, and so that's kind of a separate project that they want to get going. And
they're pretty much a landmark like your bakery.
Yes, and they want to turn that into. As far as the Armenian town project, you know, that's something that was started, gosh, probably a decade ago.
Right.
And since then, the redevelopment agency has dissolved. I do know that they have a successor agency to kind of see that through, and so we're kind of at a standstill right now as far as what's going to be happening with the whole project. We're just kind of waiting to see what's going to happen. But you know, regardless of what does happen downtown, our corner shop bakery is considered a historical landmark. Yeah. So that will stay.
As it should be.
Any redevelopment that happens will happen kind of around us.
Yeah, I want to, before I run out of time here, got to go to break, I want to put up one more video. This is step 2 of the process of the making of the lahvosh here. What are we looking at? That's what? That's
just part of the excess dough on the sides, because the dough has to be a certain width before it goes into the rolling process.
What's the width here? It looks like about a couple of inches maybe thick? Or?
I would, yes, as far as thickness, yeah, about 1.5 inches thick. And then it starts out that thick, and then as it goes through a series of rollers, it just gets to be paper thin.
So this looks like a conveyor belt here, basically. It's coming down the conveyor belt.
Right, that's the initial stage, and the dough just starts coming out, and it will start making its way down the belt, and it'll get thinned out, and it will get cut out into whatever shape we're making that day.
Yeah, like I said, we'll see that as during the course of this process here. We have actually 5 videos where we go step 1 through 5, and you'll see it here. And I want our viewers to take a look at this, because this happens at what time in the morning do you guys start this process?
This starts about 6:30 in the morning. They come in about 4:30 and start firing up the ovens and get everything going, and then. And
here's it's coming out of where here?
This is coming out of one of the initial rollers.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can see it's still pretty thick at this point.
It looks a little bit thinner, but not too much.
Right. And it'll just get progressively thinner and thinner as it goes down the assembly line.
Yeah, and it's basically being flattened out. It's instead of doing everything by hand, the machines do the work that your mom and uncle used to do. Right?
It does, yes.
And your grandfather.
Yes, definitely. You know, it's rolling it out. It's really automated. We've grown.
What do you think your grandfather would think if he saw that machine today, if he was here?
He'd probably say he could do it better.
He'd probably freak out and say, "Get rid of that thing. I can do it."
Yeah, let me do it. So.
Agnes, it's really great to have you here.
Thank you.
Stick around. We got more to come here on Connect with Me. We're talking about the landmark, the Valley Lahvosh, that's across the street from the church. Obviously, it should be a landmark, and we're going to talk more with Agnes, and your phone calls are important. 436-ME-TV.
Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're the low-price leading brands reliable advice place. The Whirlpool Dream Kitchen Get Yours Today place. Check this out. Right now, get huge savings on select Whirlpool appliances and pay no interest when paid in full within 6 months. At the hometown low price, think outside the big box place. Since 1951, Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're working hard to be your place.
Back here with our good friend here, Agnes Saghatelian. She is the owner, the sole owner of Valley Lahvosh. A lot of work. It's she's got a lot to, she's got that tradition to hold up, and it's a lot of work. And she's carrying that monkey on her back that her grandfather started way back in 1922. So there is a lot of pressure to keep this thing going. And who knows, she may pass it on to her daughter if she wants to. We are talking here, and this is the cracker bread that you brought in. Let's hold that up too, Agnes. Let's put that right there. There it is, right there. Comes in the package process there. And you've also got the pita bread that you brought.
Yes, we do. I did bring some pita bread. We manufacture the pita bread here locally, and we sell it in our store. Mm-hmm. And so this is a wonderful fresh loaf of pita bread that we make Tuesday through Saturday. Yeah. And this is only sold in our store. The product is sold nationwide. But we sell the pita bread just in our store, and then we also have some buns, and these make great hamburger buns, great sandwiches, yeah. And so we make rolls also.
Can you cut me a piece right now? No, just kidding. Let's get to these videos before we run out of time.
Sure.
Let's go step 3 here of the making of the lavash, and I'm really interested in this. And you know, now there it's really thin.
Yes. You can see here, it's most likely in the final stages right now, and you can see how much thinner it is. Mm-hmm. And it needs to be at a certain thickness in order to go through the cutter. Right. And this machine right there, that is the actual cutter. So depending on what shape we're making for the day determines what size cutter. And it's basically like a large rolling pin, but it has a certain design cut into it. And it's cutting out our traditional 15-inch.
Yeah, that's the one you just held up a couple seconds ago.
Yes, in the white package. That's your traditional. That's what really got everything started. And that is our #1 selling item, is the 15-inch.
Right, and that is the cracker bread.
Yes, that's the cracker bread. After
it's coming out and going into the oven.
It's going into the 80-foot oven that we have.
Yeah. Yes. So now your grandfather started this in 1922. Mm-hmm. The area was a lot different then than it is now, as you well know. Mm-hmm. Okay. Have you ever thought about moving it?
Gosh, you know, we've thought about it. We've thought about it, but you know, it will be a huge undertaking. We have so much equipment, and so, you know, we have our ovens, we've got packaging equipment. It would just be a huge undertaking. Yeah.
There's the lavash going into the oven right there.
Yeah, yeah, it's going in, and it's already been seated, and it's got its Docker pin, so it's headed in.
Now, in 1985, you had an expansion. Talk about that.
We did, yeah. We the rest of the property from Santa Clara up to Ventura was purchased, and so we built an addition, and that's when we put in the new oven system. Yeah. And that's what really helped grow the company as far as getting our capacity up to be able to service.
That extension is about 100 yards long. If you were to measure it, maybe the length of a football field, basically.
It's close. It is the entire block length. So it goes basically from Santa Clara all the way up to Ventura. Yeah. It's kind of deceiving. People think we have a cute little corner shop bakery, and then we take them in the back, and they're kind of surprised.
Hey, if you don't know where they're located, if you know where Selland Arena is, it's like across the street.
It's a block south of Selland Arena. Yeah, on M Street.
So, hey, another piece of video. This is step 4, I believe. There is the oven. Yes, what's an oven like that cost? A couple of $100,000, maybe $1 million bucks?
Closer to the latter. Yeah.
$1 million, my God.
Yeah, the equipment's very, very expensive. You know, fortunately, we just went through and kind of gave it a little facelift, and to help with our capacity.
It looks very sophisticated as we travel down the aisle here, the ovens, and you'll see inside, I took some shots here of the lavash actually being baked.
Right, the bread sits right on the oven band, and it's heated all around. It's a kind of a convection heat, and so we do have flames on the bottom, and then the heat just circulates, and you can see it starting to bubble up and get crispy.
What's the temperature in here? What do you keep it at?
You know, it ranges because we have different zones. So anywhere from 400 to 600 degrees, and it will be different in different spots of the oven. So that's all controlled. And the people that come in, they'll get the oven sent.
Yeah, that's really cool. An oven with a conveyor belt. Look how long that thing is.
Yeah, that room gets very hot in the summertime.
Yeah,
very
I can imagine. I was in there, and it was very warm for obvious reasons.
Sure.
But, so you sell this stuff and ship it out all over the country.
We do, yeah. Everything is manufactured in our plant, and then we ship. About 95% of our business goes out of Fresno, and so we ship that out, major truck line.
95%
yeah.
is outside the Central Valley?
Yeah, it is.
Really?
It is, yeah.
What about going overseas?
We're just now starting to get into the export business, and so I'm working on some different leads from attending some different trade shows to start exporting, because our product has an 18-month shelf life, so it can take the travel time that it needs to get overseas and to be sold in different markets.
Have you ever thought, has it crossed your mind, you know, I'm going to sell the business? Has that thought ever crossed your mind, or never?
Not now. No, not now. It hasn't. You know, by the time I get to retirement age and I'm kind of looking around and my daughter doesn't want to be in the business, then I'll have some decisions to make.
Yeah.
You know, but right now, no.
You're a long way from retirement age, my friend.
Well, yeah.
You're a long way.
Yeah, but I still have to think about it.
20, 30 years to go yet.
Yeah, well, let's hope. Let's hope. You know, that'd be nice to be able to still have the business. My goal is to get it to 100 years, and we'll see what happens after that.
That's not that far away.
It's really not.
You know, one final piece of video here, the final stages of the making of the lavash, which is a interesting process. Here it is, the final stage. You know, you could actually take it off that conveyor belt right there and actually take a bite.
Yes, you can. It is a fully baked product. It just went through the metal detector, and the 15-inch is one of the items that we still hand pack. Some of the products, like the smaller items that I'm showing here today, those are automated, so those are packed by machine.
I see.
But the 15-inch is still packed by hand, and so the girls pack it up, and then it goes through a little cooling conveyor, and then it gets put right into the case and onto a pallet, and then it either gets put into inventory or it gets shipped out.
Yeah, there it is, coming off the belt there in the packaging. How many employees do you have?
We have 30 employees.
Okay.
30 employees, and that's both production and office and clerical.
Right, and you had to reduce your staff, I would imagine, in the last quite a few years, just because of the new equipment, right?
Well, we've had the equipment for such a long time. Our employee number has been pretty stable. Yeah, thankfully. So we've got it pretty much down as far as how many people it takes to work and run certain lines. So he's putting the 15-inch there into the case, and that's hand-packed as well, and he gets that ready to go. It'll be taped up, it'll get a corner label put on, and it'll get put on the pallet.
Right, and it's being shipped to my house right now. Kidding.
Sure.
I'm kidding. We got about 3 minutes left. I want to show that one piece of video, the pita bread, of them. You know, it's not the actual making of the pita bread, because that takes place earlier in the morning, right?
It does, yeah. That starts at 4 a.m.
Okay, let's roll that before we run out of time here. There's some of the pita bread on the table there, and the packaging obviously will take place.
Right.
And after this, I want to put up on the screen a very interesting picture of you and your mom.
Okay.
As we take a look at this now, you know, this is part of the old section of the building, right?
It is. This is part of the original section. Under the original section, we manufactured both the pita and the lavash. We had a whole lavash line in that section right there. But when we did the add-on, we moved the lavash line to the other side of the building.
All right. I want to put up that picture of you and your mom when you were such a young girl. Okay. There you are in pink, right there.
There I am. Yeah.
How old are you there?
Oh gosh, I think I was about 12 or 13.
Yeah, and there's another picture of your mom. I believe we have that picture as well. There she is.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite pictures of her. That is her in our retail store. That is, she's showing the pita, and then I love the prices behind her in the old cash register. I mean, pita was 41 cents and lavash was 85 cents, and just her hairdo and just everything about that picture. I just love it.
You know, she almost, you know, I know you're Armenian, but she looks like a typical Greek mom to me. So she looks like my grandmother.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah,
it's amazing. Do we have any more photos up there that we can put some of the oldies but goodies? I think we have one inside the there you go.
Yeah.
That was, what year was that?
Gosh, that I believe was in the 70s. And the gentleman with the paper hat who's holding the pita, that is my Uncle Sam. And that's when they were making the lavash by hand, and you can see the gentleman, he's got the kind of a pizza paddle, he's taking it out, and they're putting it on the rack to cool.
Before the days of the machines.
Yes, before the days of the machines.
Well, you know, you talk about William Saroyan, you know, we had another gentleman on this show not too long ago, Sam Cabellis, who was the founding father of the B-1B bomber. We have your grandfather. Maybe they should put statues of your grandfather, Sam Cabellis, and Saroyan downtown Fresno someplace.
Oh,
wouldn't
awesome.
that be great?
That would be, yeah, that would be wonderful.
Well, Agnes, we wish you continued success. We've got about 30 seconds left. Phone number and address.
Sure. Our phone number is 485-2700, and we are at 502 M Street. in downtown at the corner of M and Santa Clara.
All right. The church is across the street.
Yes.
Selland is down the street.
Yes.
You can't miss the bakery.
Can't miss it.
Wish you continued success.
Thank you.
Yeah, all the best.
Thank you very much.
Keep selling.
I will. I will.
Right. All right, that's Agnes Saghatelian, the owner of Valley Lahvosh. And tomorrow, we've got 10-gauge Rachel Rage. She is a roller derby star right here in the city of Fresno. We'll introduce you to her and one of her friends tomorrow on Connect with Me. See you then.